I'm willing to bet that you've probably never had this dish before, and on the surface, it might just look like any old beef stew, but don't let that fool you. This is Vietnamese Ragu Bo, and its origins can be traced back to the French colonial period in Vietnam, where Vietnamese locals blended their flavors and ingredients with French techniques, creating something truly unique. This ragu bo is so underrated and incredibly comforting, and once you try it, it's bound to become your new favorite version of beef stew. So do me a favor and make sure you like, comment, share, and save this video. Alright y'all, remember to wash your hands. Then the first thing we'll do is get all of our prep work done, starting by dicing up half an onion. And if you don't mince your garlic in bulk like I do, now would be a great time to mince up a few cloves as well. Then I have 3 large potatoes, and we'll peel away the skin, and using this crinkle cut knife, we're going to cut our potatoes into 1-inch pieces in slightly irregular shapes. You'll find that in Vietnamese and Japanese cooking, there's a technique of cutting cylindrical vegetables into irregular cuts to create chunky and multifaceted pieces. This exposes more of the veggie surface area while keeping the size similar. This helps cook them more quickly and evenly, but it'll also give it some visual interest and contrast. So once we're done cutting all the potatoes, we're going to repeat that process with a couple of large carrots. Now for the beef, I have 3 pounds of beef shank that will cut into about 1.5-inch pieces, just slightly larger than the veggies. We want these to be fairly big chunks as it'll shrink and render a bit when we cook it, and this will ensure that both the beef and veggies will be roughly the same size when it's all said and done. Now beef shank is one of my favorite cuts for stews because of all the connective tissues in the cut. When beef shank is cooked over a longer period of time, that collagen melts into gelatin, giving us a really tender piece of beef that's texturally interesting while making our stew really silky. But alternatively, you could opt for a beef chuck here too. Now once all of our beef is cut up, we'll heat up a big wide pot on medium-high heat and add in a splash of oil. We'll brown off the beef on all sides for just a couple of minutes, allowing it to pick up some color. And if you like this recipe and you want to learn how to make more of your favorite Vietnamese and Asian dishes, make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to stay up to date on all my latest posts. Now when the beef is browned, we'll remove it from the pot. Then we're going to saute our diced onions and a tablespoon of minced garlic in that same pot for just a couple of minutes or until fragrant. To that, we'll add in 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and continue to cook this for a couple of more minutes to allow its natural sugars to caramelize and to give our stew some added depth. Then we'll add the beef shank back into the pot and toss that to combine for another minute or so. Then pour in 15 ounces of tomato sauce and 2 quarts of water. We'll add in a heaping tablespoon of beef bouillon, and we'll season our ragu bo with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a couple small nubs of rock sugar for balance. Add a pinch of MSG for health, and we'll bring that up to a rolling boil. Skim off any impurities that rises to the top as necessary, and we'll add in 2 whole bay leaves. Reduce the heat to low and let that simmer covered with a slight crack for about 2 to 2.5 hours, or until the beef shank is tender but not falling apart. Then we'll add in our carrots and potatoes and let that simmer for another 20 minutes to allow the veg to be fork tender. Now at the very end, I'm gonna add in a cup of frozen peas, and we'll season a taste with deer mum fish sauce. Now, I do like my stew a little more on the thick side, so we're gonna add in a cornstarch slurry made with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 2 tablespoons of water to thicken it up slightly. Mix that in and then make any final adjustments to the seasonings. And then it's time to plate. Now you have a couple of different options on how to serve this, and you can pair this with some slices of Vietnamese baguette, or you can serve it directly over rice. Either way though, we'll ladle our Ragu Bo into our bowl, making sure to get a little bit of everything. We'll garnish this simply with a couple of cilantro leaves, and just like that, you've made an incredible Ragu Bo at home. As always, the recipe and measurements are on my blog at feedthepudge.com. And if you've made it this far, let me know in the comment section, what's the next Vietnamese dish you want to learn how to make? Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.